Okay everyone, welcome back again for another video on the channel. Today we're back on GT Sport and we're back with the new daily races. We're getting a little bit of a quick preview of all three races for you right now. So I actually decided, do you know what, I'm just going to go into daily race C. I don't really know the track. I have done it before a long time ago, but we'll just wing it basically and see what we can do. We're starting at the back because that's probably the safest place for me to be on this track, if I'm brutally honest. I'm using the Cayman. A lot of people using the FF cars because they're quite dominant in the time trial. However, I do know that the Cayman is pretty strong on fuel. And yeah, make sure you check out the settings for a race, people, because a lot of people have made the silly mistake of not checking, one, the fuel rate in this race, and also the compulsory tyres. You do need to use the hard tyres for this race, so make sure that you do that. Now there is two options. You can run the mediums on one lap and push, refuel and go on hard tyres, but from what it seems like, although I wouldn't take my word for it, is that the no stop on the hard tyres does seem to be quite a bit faster, especially if you've got a car good on tyres and fuel. So starting the race, you can see just trying to make it through the first corner with that turn one can always cause a bit of chaos. But yeah, keep an eye on, I would advise you to keep an eye on the Scirocco, the black Scirocco just in front of us. He is pushing everyone out the way, barging through, just nearly took out the Jaguar up in front of us. Driving very aggressively, almost pushing his way through, barging his way through, and have a little look as we go into this corner. You're going to see him on the inside up there, and then dart over to the left, almost bash into a car. And again, he's just trying to push his way through. You can see it again here. He's on the right hand side now, and then watch this erratic movement to the left. He just swings it across, hits the red Jaguar, and yeah, and now he's going to knock that Jaguar wide, and it's all just kicking off. As we see, we managed to get past him here now. We got the slipstream, get a little bit of a bump draft from the Dodge behind us, and now we're on the inside, and yeah, this black Scirocco again just pushes us all out the way, and this shows up the issue that we saw again at Autopolis. I pick up a 2-second penalty because the car on the inside pushes me into another car and basically causes us to push the other car off. So it does highlight that penalty issue with the game, but no issue. We've had, you know, we haven't had many bad penalties. As again, that black Scirocco up ahead pushing deliberately the orange Scirocco through the corner and basically pushing him out the way. Pretty disgusting driving. I don't know what his problem is, but yeah, let's just say karma might catch him up as we go up the inside there, going up on the side, making the move, and now into this corner again. I'm not the most aware of this track. I'm just basically winging this. I do know the first sector reasonably okay. I'm not 100% confident with it. Sometimes corners catch me by surprise because I ain't got a clue where I'm going as that car gets all up on the curb. That leaves me an opportunity to try and go around the outside here. It's very difficult to overtake at Nordschleife in general because the track is so thin. There is no space at all really to go for any sort of moves. But we managed to pull that one off though. And we're up to P8, so not too bad. But unfortunately, we do have that 2-second penalty, which is going to really hurt because the penalty zone is on the back straight right at the end of the lap, that massive back straight, and it loses you so much time. So that 2 seconds is probably going to lose me about 5 seconds in lap time, which is quite frustrating as we fast forward the action. And we've managed to catch up to P7 again, nearly in his slipstream here, and then we're coming up to this point here on the lap, and he just goes in way too strong. He goes in way too deep. He's onto the grass, he's skidding across, and he's into the barrier, and yeah, he's going to lose a lot of time with that one. But that's a free position for me, and that means we're now up to P7 from the back of the grid in a track that I don't really know. So going okay in the Cayman. Cayman seems pretty good on fuel, although I didn't really know how to do this fuel saving because I didn't know how short we would be. It's my first race of the day on it as we come up to this very tricky section here, and we've got another car off track. That's going to be another free position, so it puts us up to P6. And yeah, the fuel, I'm trying to keep an eye on it. We're just over halfway through the lap, I think, now, and we're on 74% fuel, so we should be reasonably okay, although I wasn't really doing the maths in my head at this stage. I was just waiting until we get to the finish line. Basically, you need to be around 50% on the finishing line if you're going to go for the strategy that I'm doing here. I'm going for the hard tyre, no stop strategy of fuel saving, because one, I'm in the Cayman, and two, it's easier for me not to be pushing around the track that I do not know. So yeah, it's a lot easier to fuel save and short shift and just take it really calmly and just try and get it to the end and gain some time without pitting and refueling. As we see the Vantage behind us, I think that's a Vantage, getting a massive slipstream, and I kind of wanted to let him go down the left there, say to the right, but he wanted to bump draft me. I think it would have been better if he probably would have gained a bit more pace if he would have been he would have gone past instead of bump drafting me, but maybe he wanted to save a bit of fuel. But the problem is I'm doing a lot of short shifting as well. He has a little look there then, but again, this track so thin and narrow, it's really difficult to let a car pass because you've got corners coming up. There's so many corners on the track, and yeah, it's very difficult to find or give anyone space to just go past. I didn't really want to hold him up, but at this stage, not got really much choice. So carrying on with the fuel saving, you can see I'm taking it so cautiously. I have to apologise for the really slow driving because, like I say, I have no idea where I'm going, and this is my first race of the day. I will do some more races and try and get ourselves even more familiar with this track. See if we can really get it nailed this week, because it's kind of a good combination to learn it. One, it's Group 4, and it's a fuel saver, and it's a no-stop strategy. So it's a very calmly paced race. You don't have to be driving it flat out, so we can really learn these corners, learn where the braking zones are, and gradually pick it up as we go through this section now, where it's all very tight and twisty. We got 2 cars behind us. We're still in P6, so we're just seeing where we can, how far we can get in this race before 1, making a mistake. That is going to be the problem, or 2, running out of fuel. Hopefully we won't run out of fuel, but yeah, this is why I keep saying make sure you check them race settings, because people are going to run out of fuel if they don't. It's very high ratio. I think it's ×7 fuel rate ×8 tyre wear. So yeah, you are going to have to keep an eye on that fuel all the way through. And make sure you use the hard tyres. I say it every week, but every Monday we come on and we see people not using the hard tyres when it's required, and they get a 1-minute penalty as we take that 2-second penalty, which is really painful. Just look how much time we've lost. We've gone from P6 to P10, and I think we've lost at least 5 seconds with that. So pretty horrible amount of time lost. We're going to save some fuel while we're just about in the slipstream to that RCZ you saw me putting into mixture 6. Actually lost the slipstream a bit at the end of the lap because I'm not very confident through there. But you see some people pitting for probably fuel and tyres because they had literally no fuel left. We've got 50% pretty much dead on. So at this stage, looks like the fuel saving went quite well. And obviously, you do need to bear in mind that on your next lap, you're probably going to use a little bit less fuel because the car's a little bit lighter. So you should, in theory, you should have the ability to push a little bit more on that second lap. So we're up to P6. You can see working our way through here, and on the downhill section here, you're going to see just taking it nice and easy, almost coasting through that corner. But we managed to gain a position through here. You're going to see there from P6 to P5, and that is because we have a car that's run out of fuel and obviously quit. So that is one victim of the day. He's run out of fuel, he's out the race, and he will not be taking part in this race anymore, obviously. So yeah, that guy's been caught out, I think around halfway through the lap, maybe a little bit less because the backside's a lot faster pace. So yeah, quite strange, people running out of fuel that early. But this is why I say you need to keep an eye on their fuel, because it's ×7. Make sure you're watching that fuel and fuel saving if you're going to go for this no-stop strategy. Hence, you can see me going into mixture 6 while in that slipstream in 6th gear, just sitting behind him, saving my fuel at this stage, trying to give us the ability to push a little bit more on the back straight. Now, one reason why the Cayman can be quite good here, I think, as we come up to the guy who was taking everyone out at the start of the race, and he has run out of fuel. He has already run out of fuel halfway through, just over halfway through the lap, and he is out of fuel. And to add matters, to make it even worse, that guy that was taking everyone out, pushing his way through, barging, cost me a 2-second penalty. He was also on the medium tyres still. He hadn't even bothered to change tyres. So all that stupid driving for no gain at all. Quite annoying. But then we come to my first mistake of the Nordschleife. And again, I knew it was going to happen because I'm not really confident in this track. And I just missed the braking point. And we run wide. And then I get dirty tyres. I get all out of sync on that corner. And that, again, throws us wide. So we lose about, I think, about 6 to 8 seconds at least there. Really frustrating. I think probably more with the fact that we've had the slipstream down the straight. But looking at the fuel, we actually had a lot more fuel to push on this second lap. We're in P4 though, so starting from the back at a track we don't really know, this isn't too bad. Up into P4, doing okay. But what you're going to see here now is keep an eye on P1. He has forgot to do the tyres. You're going to see now he's got P1, but watch how he drops down the order because he's going to pick up a 1-minute penalty. He's down to P2, down to P3. And we go over the line and get a podium on our first race at Nordschleife. Quite a nice result in the end. But look at the gap. We were only 6 seconds away from the lead. So take away the 2-second penalty for when we got absolutely destroyed by the other driver. And with the mistake, we would have won that by about 5 seconds. So maybe, you know, we might be able to get some good results by the end of the week when I fully understand this track. Maybe we'll do a stream just doing that track to really learn it at some point. But yeah, now we're going to move on to Daily Race B, and we're going to have a little bit of a lesson for you people here. Sometimes you should not celebrate too early. That is just a little bit of a clue. So, starting from P2, we are behind Sparks in front of us. We're in the Supra. I did a lap for this. I had 7 minutes to set a lap time. We jumped in time trial. Managed to get a 36.4, which is about 8 tenths off the top time at the moment. So it wasn't too bad. It was just literally a jump on, get in the car and see what we can do. So obviously we do know that Sparks is pretty fast around here, Sparks Theory. Pretty fast drive around there. I don't know if he's done many races so far at this point in the day. I just jumped on, not really up to speed. But one advantage of this track is it's pretty easy to stay in the slipstream. So we don't have any tyre wear for this race. It's 4 laps. It's a little bit short. Would have been a bit better if it was 5 laps. We did this race in Group 4 and it was 4 laps. So with these cars being a bit faster, I think they could have upped this to 5 laps. But again, we're back to that daily race talk. And yeah, if you want to check out that video that I did, make sure you check that out on the channel about changes that I think could be made to these daily races to improve them. And I think my changes are getting highlighted so much recently, because some of these races are getting a bit stale, to say the least. We're back on Dragon Trail for the 1000th time, but yeah, at least, you know, it's not the worst track in the world. It's in Group 3 this time. It's there if you want to do it, I suppose. Yeah, one quick thing to point out with the Supra: make sure that you short shift this car. This is a bit like the Corvette. You shift, I think, around about 60% with this car, something like that, 60% on the shift range, and that will give you pretty much the optimum power down the straights. Do not rev this car out because you just lose speed as we go into that braking zone. We're going to try and get a nice run on this exit, and I actually hooked this up quite nicely. You see, into 3rd gear, get a nice slip angle through the corner, early upshift to 4th gear, and now we're going to try and get the slipstream from Sparks all the way down the straight and see if we can get ourselves into P1. Let's see what the slipstream can do. Is it strong enough? Oh yeah, it is clearly strong enough in this game. Look at the advantage you get with that slipstream. We're on the left hand side. We're going to brake a little bit later. He's going to brake nice and early. He's not going to try and hold it around the outside. He's going to try and get a bit of an undercut and just tuck into my slipstream now. So yeah, up into P1 for our first race of the day on here, and now we've just got to try and hold this position all the way to the end. Let's see what we can do. So braking nice and early through a very tricky corner to get the braking right there. I find it probably better to brake a little bit early than what you would expect, just to make sure you get that apex as we fast forward the action all the way to the death chicane, and we're gonna see its first victim of the day with Sparks behind us. Just keep an eye on him. He gets all out of shape, car goes loose, and he's into the wall there, onto the barrier, and bang, that's a big hit. He's going to lose about 1.5 seconds, I think, there, or 1.5 seconds, something like that. Let's keep an eye. Yeah, he's out of slipstream range and he's down to about 1.5 seconds. So now, all I have to do is take it easy, drive nice and sensibly, and we've got a very simple win on our hands. Well, that is what you would think. However, this is a bit of advice for you people. Do not celebrate too early in a race. Sometimes karma will hit you. So we managed to do the death chicane with no problem at all. Straight through there, no problem. Nice and smooth. We're going into the last corner now. Looks like an easy win here. Down to 3rd gear, making sure we hit the apex, and again on the power nice and early, not taking it too not risking anything. We're keeping it nice and smooth. However, this is an example of why you do not celebrate too early. I've gone for the classic 360 over the line. However, as we look, almost add insult, we watch Sparks going over the line and overtaking me on the finish line. I'm still laughing at it now because when I did that live, I was absolutely in stitches because I seen his car going over the finishing line, and yeah, as you can tell now, I'm actually finding it even more funny watching it back. But yeah, we ended that race in P2. Not too bad. First race of the day, but yeah, lesson learnt there. Don't ever 360 when you're that far ahead and when you don't know where the finishing line exactly is. So, starting daily race 8. Now, this is the biggest meme race of the year, basically. You know, whenever it's an FIA race, it's a meme race. I did one race. It was really boring, I'm going to be honest. First race was really boring. This is the second race. The first race was just static. Everyone bump drafting all the way to the finish line. Literally gained 1 position or 2 positions. It wasn't very entertaining. Now, this is a problem with this race because it might be entertaining for the last corner, but I'm going to be brutally honest. I think, although it's a meme race and it's kind of fun, it's also a bit boring because 95% of this race is just sitting behind someone in slipstream, nothing happens, and then it all kicks off at the end. However, does this race kick off? Yes, it does. You're going to see now as we following P8, we got slipstream. One thing I will say with this car is make sure you rev it out a bit. It does give you a bit more speed. I noticed it with the car in front. He was short shifting a bit, and it was giving me a little bit of extra speed because he was shifting too early. So make sure you rev this car out and get them revs going. It will give you a bit more straight line speed when in that slipstream. So yeah, I decided to go left at this point. Gonna go down left hand side. One thing I did learn is that in the first race you kind of want to be at the front. Normally you want to be at the back, but with this race everyone bump drafting. It's everyone in the same car. Unfortunately, I wish they would have added a few different cars in there. As we go to left and I rely on a bump draft, and we get that bump draft. You see a massive bump draft from the black Ford GT behind me, putting me up to P2, and we should be up to P1 as we've got a bit more speed on the straight. I think once we get a bump draft there, and we're coming up to the first corner. Now, one bit of advice, I hadn't done it at this point, I forgot, but make sure you put that radar on for this race. This is one race where I will recommend the radar because you're not braking, so you don't need to be looking at apexes. You can actually afford to look at the radar in this one. It won't really disturb you too much. I had forgot at this point, but you're going to see me going through this corner. I'm actually going to put it on, and it's quite a good job that I put it on when I did, because as you have a little look through here, we put it on there, and just look at this. Absolute, it's like it's a fighter pilot radar system basically. It's just craziness going on there, but we managed to all get through here. Look, you see 3 wide, 4 wide at one point, and it's okay. I'm trying to keep it nice and smooth. One bit of advice, try and keep it as smooth as you can when going through the corners on this combination, because I know it's very hard on the control pad for some people, but yeah, the smoother you can be, the more predictable you can be, the less chance of death. That is literally, you know, if you start weaving, banging into cars, GT Sports pinball physics will take over, and you'll be facing upwards quicker than you'll know it. So again, you can see we're going to fast forward this action. We're onto the back straight now. We're getting bump drafted all the way down straight. And you can see it's not the most entertaining race, if I'm brutally honest, at this point. It's one lap. Yeah, it's a bit dull, isn't it? I have to say, up to this point, it's a bit dull. However, don't go anywhere, because you're about to see it, an absolute murder on track. Sent to the shadow realm, we'll say. As we're going through here, you can see I'm going to stay to the left because the high ground carries a bit more speed through the corner. We've got this guy still bump drafting me. He's still doing it. We're in P1, so we should be able to guarantee a top 3 as long as he bump drafts me up until we get back into a straight line. As we see the Spanish guy on the right side in the white car, he's going up the inside now, but you do that, you can't really gain speed. He's actually barged into the Ford GT behind me. I didn't see that at first, and then he tries to squeeze me into the wall here. You're going to see I'm on the left hand side, and he just pushes me over into the wall. Yeah, clearly not using the radar. And again, it's all kicking off in front of us. They're weaving in and out, they're hitting each other, and then we're just absolutely whacked into the wall. We're facing upwards, we're spinning round. We've got another Ford GT spinning round, and a massive accident on the final corner, and we drop down to P11. So yeah, I think what we need to do is take a look at that and how that actually happened, because multiple factors in that. The Spanish driver pushing us into the wall, and then we had 2 cars pinballing off each other that were just ramming into each other. And this is why you've got to be a bit more respectful in this race, because with the pinball physics on that corner, you're going to cause a lot of crashes. So come on people, let's have a bit more respect. So looking at the replay camera, you see I'm on the outside there, and then you can see the Spanish driver now. He starts pushing me up closer to the wall. You can see as we get into the exit there, he's pushing me into the wall. We're up onto the wall, and then you can see all the pinball physics kicking off around us. And then just keep your eye on the yellow car. Did you see that there? He just swung over, hit the black car, which then pushed me into the wall, and yeah, a massive accident. So let's have a little watch again from a different perspective, from my perspective from the rear. You see we're getting pushed into the wall a little bit there. He's not really giving us a space there, and he just squeezes right into the wall. Doesn't give me any space on left. I'm not sure if he got pushed himself, but then you see all the pinball physics in front of us, and you see the yellow car. That is the car you need to keep an eye on. I'm not sure whether it's deliberate what he was doing, but it seemed to be reactive from the black Ford GT as well. So we'll take a look at his point of view. As we're coming through here, you can see that he gets hit by the black one, then they're just pinballing off each other, and then bang, a big whack into the black one, which hits the front of my car, and that is me and that black Ford GT into the wall and out of the race pretty much. But yeah, enter this race at your own risk. That is all I'm going to say. The penalty system doesn't seem to be very sensitive for it, so maybe you won't lose too much SR, but you've got a high chance of losing DR, because it's going to be quite low ranked drivers in these lobbies. and it's quite chaotic. But I will do this on my second account, probably on the stream. But yeah, I hope you enjoy it. Make sure you leave a like, comment in the comment section what you think about these races, and I'll see you all for more videos and live streams soon. Thanks again for watching, everyone.